Welcome to another edition of the St. Andrews Knights Football Report with Coach Robert Curtin. I'm Mark Clemens. And, Coach, we've got football to talk about. Not the result we wanted to have, but let's go into that game with Weber International. Not the start you wanted to that game, was it?
No, sir. I think we could safely say we fell extremely short of our intended goals, despite Weber being a very good team. We came out of the gate a little bit laggard in our movement. I don't believe it was the heat. I don't believe it was first game jitters. I just think that we were a little bit more cautious and apprehensive as a whole, and I think that cost us a little bit, and we definitely fell short of our intended goals.
Coach, I know that as I looked at the stats, turnovers were you lost a couple of fumbles, a bad snap. Field position really puts your defense kind of in a bad spot too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a bad snap, 7 points for the special teams gave up there. We got a young kicker back there. We reinforce, hey, just kick it out the back of the end zone. Don't try to scoop it. Those guys barreling down on you. They're like a pride of lions on, fresh meat. So just kick it out the back. Special in terms of turnovers. Yeah, we got to clean that up. That's one of the things we talked about last week. You cannot give at the college level specifically, or any level really, you cannot give, fundamentally sound teams an opportunity to have a shortened field, and so that's what we did. And, they capitalized on it. Weber did a good job capitalizing on the short fields. And so I think they did what they were supposed to do. They did it right.
Early on, you got a fourth down stop when you gave them good field position. Talk a little bit about that defensive stand.
Yeah, so I think our defense is headed in the right direction. I think last week we talked about they're in the right place at the right time to do the right things. And I think, that, and they had one other opportunity. They got a fourth and, 3 and out basically, where they had to punt. So, there's a lot of positives to that. You know what I mean? I really think that, in that specific instance early on, I thought that could have been a huge momentum change. And then you follow that back with, I can't remember whether it was either the interception or I think it was the fumble. We brought it to the first side of for the first time on the other side of the field, and we fumbled the ball, and you can't do that. Not if you're a ball control team where, you want to keep a high powered offense off the field. You got to keep your offense on the field. And so we got to clean that up.
Coach, it might be, I guess now we're talking about defense, a good time to talk about this week's defensive player of the week. And young man had several tackles and in on a number of plays. Give us that defensive player of the week.
Yeah, Tyrell Milligan. We have 8 or 9 freshmen starting for us. It's no secret. I mean, whenever you look at you look at the 2 deep roster, but we're very proud of them. Tyrell Milligan is a he's a freshman outside linebacker. And he comes from us from South Carolina. He committed early on. He basically said, "Coach, I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I like it. I want to be a Knight." And he's done a fantastic job. Several tackles, a couple at the line of scrimmage, and always in the pursuit drill. Like he is always. You'll see him on backside tackles on Saturday, which was some great video by you guys. I'll tell you what, it was phenomenal. But I know we don't want to get into that right now, but so he did a great job. I think he had about 6 or 7 tackles himself, and as a freshman playing against a solid team, that's commendable.
Well, Coach, I know that you lost one of your leaders on defense for part of the game. I don't know his status. I don't know what you can talk about, but certainly having a young guy like Milligan stepped up really helped you some. As we move on the offensive side of the ball, you've got a veteran that's going to take your Player of the Week honors, and talk a little bit about this young man. Bless you, Coach.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So yeah, Aronson Cook. He's our offensive player of the week of the game. It's more than just his stats, though. When you watch the film on him, he was always executing the plays at 100%. He was always blocking downfield. He was always making sure his teammates around him were better. He took some really good wallops and he got up, didn't say a word, didn't do anything, patted the guy on the back, went back, and you could hear him being a leader. And you couple that with his statistics for the day. He had a whale of a day, and we couldn't be more proud. All the coaches unanimously selected, Aronson Cook as the not only the offensive player of the game, but just the player of the game, the Farm Bureau Insurance player of the game. Make sure I get that plug in.
Yeah, absolutely, so, Farm Bureau.
They're giving us
for all your insurance needs.
Mr. Football. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So no, but it was really, really good, top to bottom from Cook, and he's one of our leaders. So it was really good.
Coach, I know you mentioned taking a hit. He took a hit on the sideline, and sometimes it's easy to retaliate. He didn't. You get the extra yardage tacked on top of that on one of those plays, as I recall. So, good leadership from one of your veterans.
And that's important, I think, for the young guys to look at. It's very easy to stand up and try to be, have this air of machismo or whatever you want to call it. Hey, you can't do that to me. But it's a lot more important when a guy like Cook steps up, puts the ball, gives it to the ref, the flag comes down, and he doesn't retaliate. Not only did we get his first down, but we got 15 yards added onto that. And that's, that in that particular instance, that allowed us to have that 12-drive 12-play offensive drive that results in the touchdown in the early second of the quarter. And so now we're down 28-7. If we could have kept that momentum, we'd have been fine. But other young guys might have wanted to retaliate, offsetting penalties, and or we get the penalty, or a flagrant or something. So really good leadership from Cook.
Absolutely. And his stats were good too. He had over 100 yards receiving, in addition to that 15-yard penalty that he's able to get tacked on there. Coach, you played 3 freshman quarterback. Jalen Dodd, I believe, was the young man that played the most. And he put up some pretty good numbers, and maybe not the consistency you wanted, but it looked like a pretty good first start.
Yeah, we're very proud of Jalen. We're very proud of all 3 of those young men. This is Jalen, Jalen's real first collegiate level game. This is his first, college game. And I think he, in talking with him, he gained confidence as the game went on. He did some things really well. And I believe he would tell you as a high quality young man that there's things he wants to improve on personally. I mean, because he wants to lead this team and he wants to do great things for the program. And so I was very pleased with his performance, and as I was talking with him in the OC, it's like, okay, next week we just ramp it up a little bit more. We get a little bit better each and every week. And that's how we chip away at this, don't let the things that are already behind us affect us negatively. Let's take those learning points, let's clean them up, and let's move forward. And I think with the, and Jalen, not only is he an incredibly young man and a really good quarterback, but he's important. He understands, okay, this is a learning moment. It's not coaches attacking me. It's not them telling me I'm no good. It's them saying, you can be better. We see it in you. And that's what I hope and I believe in my heart, that's what he took away from it.
Which is like the old country song, there ain't no future in the past. And,
that's a good song, though, too, ain't it?
Hey, I'll pull that one out every now and then. I don't even know who sang it, but there ain't no future in the past. And we've talked about the past here a good bit. Let's move on to Saturday. This coming Saturday, September the 2nd, as we get into a new month. We've got number 9 team in the country preseason, Lindsay Wilson, coming to town. It's going to be their opening game, noon kickoff, and really big challenge that they bring. Talk a little bit about that game for us.
Well, see, we already got our first win. At the beginning of the year, they were ranked 4th. They don't play a game and they slide to 9. So I did see that today in the rankings, or yesterday in the rankings as well. But you know what? I've said this in the past. I'll say it again. They're a class act program. They built themselves on being a class act. They're doing the right things. And when you have a program that is built on doing it the right way, and the impact that they're having is, in my mind, is they are bringing to St. Andrews football how it's supposed to be done. And it's impacting all of the NAIA. It's impacting all of college level football. But that being said, as much as I want to talk nice things about them, we still got to get out there and line up across the ball from them. And yes, it's a heck of a challenge. But again, like I said, we're not going to run from the challenge. We're going to give them everything we got, and we know that they're going to give us a great game, and they're going to play the game the way it should be played. And we're going to we can't just lay down. And so none of these guys laid down. You know, we could have walked away from the second half after the 3-hour lightning storm, but it's about heart and determination. And we're not going to get better if we don't challenge our heart and our determination and our strive for excellence. So, but I'm telling you, they've got a lot of good weapons. They run a very similar defense to us, so we'll see that. Our offense will be able to see that. It's a 3-4, and they do some different variations with their linemen. And so we expect to see more things out of our offense going against what would be, a familiar lineup. But in terms of the way the field is going to be laid out for them. But yeah, I think Lindsay Wilson is going to do really well this year, and I'm excited that we get to play them. I'm excited that they're going to come to us this year, and we get to play some of the best teams in the country. And I tell every recruit that comes here, if you want to play the best teams in the country, the schedule here at St. Andrews is for you.
Coach, let's talk about keys to the game. To be successful on Saturday, what do the Knights need to do?
I mean, number one, we gotta take care of the ball. I mean, we cannot have turnovers. We cannot have penalties in the manner we did. We cannot lose focus of what it is that's going to make us successful. And we got to continue to believe we can, not give them additional opportunities by giving, interceptions and fumbles and, 3 and outs because of penalties. I mean, that doesn't help us. A great team like Lindsay Wilson, to be honest, they'll take it, but they don't need that kind of help. So for us, we just need to minimize those things, and defensively, we need to do what we're doing. We just need to clean up a few things. I think Saturday's game against Weber was really good for our youth. It gave them a taste of college football, and the speed and the force in which people are colliding into each other and getting back up for our young guys. I think that was a wake up call for sure. So those are the 3 simple things we need to do.
Coach, I think I heard at one point during the broadcast, one of the coaches say, just kind of overheard it, we've got 90% freshmen or underclassmen on the field right now. And that's tough to do against good teams, but you learn in a hurry, don't you?
Yes, we sure do. I mean, I'm not a guy that looks to the future. I want to plan for the future, but I want to live in the now. And we have, for a good majority of the game, we had 90% of that rotation, both offense and defensively, were freshmen. And they weren't redshirt freshmen. They were right out of high school. But I think when we look into the eyes of those young men, they wanted to be there. You very rarely saw any of our guys do this. You didn't, which means they're asking for, as asking for some time off.
Happen to come out.
Or they want to take a play off. Yeah. And to me, that was so important, because with guys like that, you can build something special. And we're going to get a very similar challenge this week. And, I would tell you probably we're going to get all that we could ever want this Saturday. And I'm just going to look into the eyes of those young men like I do every week. And I say, let's do it the night way. Let's do it our way. Okay. Let's Let's not worry about Lindsay Wilson. Let's worry about St. Andrews Knights. Let's do what we can do. I can't control Lindsay Wilson, but we can control St. Andrews. And those young guys, they're buying into it, sir. I'll tell you, Mark, they sense something. We all do. And we just got to get out of our own way now. And we just got to let it happen. I tell the guys all the time, play football, have fun. You make a mistake, go at 1,000 miles an hour and blow something up. The other team doesn't know that you made a mistake until you let them know. And the only way you let them know is you stop and you go, oh, shucks, I went the wrong way. Well, now they know. But kids are great. You know, they're young. I mean, you know, you see our 2 deep roster. You see what we're bringing to the table. And I'm not trading any one of those young men in for anything else. We're gonna fix this together. We're gonna come after it together.
Coach, I've always heard that between the first and second game, sometimes you make your biggest improvement, and that you could conceivably see that this Saturday.
Absolutely, I think we're going to see some great strides. I mean, you know, we had some early hiccups on our offense and our special teams. You know, we really didn't test our defense the way we wanted to, because they always had a short field. You know, so it's kind of, you can look at those statistics and say they did really great. They only gave up 200 yards or this and that. But that being said, I think they did a really good job. They had a couple, you know, 3 and outs. I think we're going to see a really good jump. And I think what we need to do analytically is figure out, you know, now we're going against the number 9 ranked team. Was the jump significant enough to allow us to assess each and every one of these young men accordingly? And that's I think it will be. And I think it's going to be a good game.
Noon kickoff, Saturday, September 2nd at St. Andrews. Coach, anything special this weekend? Labor Day weekend. I know you want to see everybody out there.
Yeah, I think we had a great crowd despite the heat last week. I think we're going to see a better crowd. The heat will be a little bit lower, you know, in terms of degrees, in terms of temperature. But I will tell you this, if I could, the St. Andrews administration, the St. Andrews athletics, they were an amazing support system for our football team with hydration, water, Gatorade, wet towels. So, you know, we don't have anything special, but if I could pull something out of my 4th point of contact, it would be, you know, a tribute to the university and the entire staff, academics, admissions, athletics, and even our professors. They're out there. I saw them giving kids water and bottles, but we don't have anything special otherwise. But just a tribute to our great university. We collectively, I think, are headed in the right direction as a university.
Sounds good, Coach. That's a new kickoff. We'll start the stream sometime. If you can't be there on the St. Andrews Athletics YouTube channel, the stream starts about 11:30. Our announcers, led by James Red Mellick, will be coming on probably about 1:15. James will get things started, and we'll bring you all the action. The game from Saturday against Weber is online, and we had a really good crowd, Coach. I think I checked right after, about 2,500 people saw the game, in addition to a good crowd under the tents on Saturday. So, again, noon kickoff. Don't forget, we've got a noon kickoff this Saturday. We hope to see you there, but we'll be on the St. Andrews Athletics YouTube channel if you can't make it to the game. Try to be there. Wave up to the press box where we're at the top of the press box where we're at. You'll see us running cameras and looking really hot and sweaty. But Coach, thanks for taking the time. Good luck this Saturday. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, just 2 things, sir. Number 1, if anybody from Lindsay Wilson's seen us, bring your chairs and your tent. You'll need them. It'll be warm. And like you said, the video, the live stream was absolutely amazing. So if you can't get out here to the game, please pull it up on 485 Sports. You guys, as usual, set the standard in excellence, and we appreciate that.
Thanks, Coach. We do appreciate that. This has been the St. Andrews Knights Football Report with Coach Robert Curtin. I'm Mark Clemens. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you out at Knights Stadium.